right, hey, welcome, Real Life Johnson folks. We're here. We're thriving. We're making a difference, and we just thank you for always tuning in and supporting us. But please share our podcast. We want to keep sharing it with people so they can be where they need to be in 2025. We're going to talk about thriving through the Trump effect today because everybody is talking about it. Social media is going crazy. And I told you at the first broadcast, Dr. T, and I told him, I said, no matter who in the White House, who is in your house?
Awesome. Welcome to the Real Life Johnsons with the Commissioner and Dr. T.
Yes.
I like to open the same way, so.
Yeah.
And so we were talking with a great friend of ours, and the Commissioner just started just giving a lot of knowledge and insight. I was like, that is so good. It would be great for our listeners to hear what he had to say. And so I wanted to kind of go back from 120 to what has happened in the last week, because at the recording of this, it is January 27, 2025. So talk to us, because you are a political strategist, enthusiast, governmental thought leader, and so much more, but you understand this space. So kind of break down for us regular everyday folks that may not have the lens through which your experience and knowledge and would help someone like us at the basic level. Kind of talk to us like what has happened, what you've seen, and what we can, look for in this, what we call for us to thrive through the Trump effect.
Well, I think it's a lot. I mean, to go through the executive orders, there's been about 100 of those so far or more. And so those executive orders range from immigration to economic development to possible grants that may impact cancer, infrastructure needs, bringing federal employees back to work, focusing on DEI, just different things that impact every part of our lives.
What is an executive order? Because you said that, and I thought, well, what is that?
What is an executive order? Is a person who's an executive who can give an order that basically can give like a mandate to stop certain things from happening that the organization may be engaged in.
So it's illegal. It's a legal.
It's a legal document.
Something that, or what, a document that the person in that position can use.
Right. They have the authority to do that. An executive, he's the president, so he can do executive orders, pardons, commutations, all of those things. What we're seeing is, and like I'm going to go back to always my premise, and we talked about those 3 P's that we sent out. What is your purpose? Are you going to persevere? And what is your passion? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get to the last one if I can, because if you don't have all those 3 P's, the last P you can use that can help make those other 3 P's come into formation, which is prayer. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to make sure that I want to give you a definition of purpose, because I wanted to have it. The reason for which something exists or is done, made, or used. Mm-hmm. The reason for which something exists is made, done, or used. Mm-hmm. That's purpose. Mm-hmm. That's what we got to focus on. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of folks on social media, we're talking about what President Trump has done, has said. And I want to tell you, after you get through with posting, what are you going to do in your local community? Mm-hmm. Because your local community is where you're going to have to take action. Mm-hmm. What's happening at the federal level is going to happen, but still you have your local elected officials and public policy that you can do to implement, that you can help with to get you to the point where you need to be. So it's great because I know you want to do it, because it's good therapy. It's something that you can vent. But at the end of the day, after you write that statement and get a certain amount of likes and get people to comment, what are you going to do where you live? What are you going to do where you live? That means your purpose. Mm-hmm. Is your purpose to help out at a school that may be underperforming, or a neighborhood that may be facing environmental issues? Or what is it going to be? Mm-hmm. Are you going to go down to your local city council or county commission and petition them for more mental health funds to help you with your local hospital, or to do more cleanups and beautification in your community? You have to do something besides just posting. What is your purpose?
So in essence, and for those of us, you need to follow us at Real Life Johnsons on Instagram and Facebook. But follow us and comment because we share quotes and clips and things like that. But one of our clips was the 3 P's that Commissioner has, and it's purpose, perseverance, and passion.
Right.
And so a lot of people have a lot to say.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you got a lot to say if there's no action behind what you're saying, because the new president is in place. Mm-hmm. Whatever you feel about him doesn't matter. Your life still has to go on, and you are here to make an impact. And so we can all say, you can say whatever all day long, but if there's no
you got to put something behind that. Right, you got to really put something behind it. Otherwise, you're going to spend your next 4 years just reacting.
Correct.
And if you ever want to go further in life, your reacting is not going to solve it. You got to progress. You got to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck and you're going to be angry, going to be upset, because everything is going to keep moving.
That's right.
With you or without you. You want to be on that merry-go-round as opposed to sitting there watching people go around and having fun.
Right.
And so that's why I talked about those 3 P's, that your purpose is very, very important. And I'm just pleading with you. Get you a list of things that you want to focus on. What is your purpose? What are you passionate about?
Right.
What are you going to persevere in? Because whatever you're passionate about, you got to work it.
Right. And really, passion fuels your purpose, right?
Right.
You got purpose. God places purpose in you, but he gives you that passion and that zeal to carry it out and get it done. And some of us may have lost that passion.
Right.
But that happens in life, right? You may not always
keep losing your passion if you keep focusing on what President Trump is doing and not focusing on internally, what are you going to do to help your neighborhood get better, your family to get better, to help yourself get better?
That's true.
Because all of those things will play a very key part in dealing with the Trump effect.
Correct. And what would you consider the Trump effect?
Well, I mean, what are we doing now? I mean, a lot of folks are reacting. You're getting angry. You're getting upset. You waiting to see what's going to happen next. You're spending your time talking to your friends about it. You're doing a lot of things that's going to take you off center and what we call in public health your internal locus of control. I mean, what do I internally? What can I control? And that's going to drive you back to one of the 3 P's. And I want you all to tell us that in the comment section, or email us, or just let us know, what are your 3 P's? And if you don't have 3 P's, I'm going to say it throughout this podcast. What are you going to pray about? What is your prayer going to be about? What is your prayer life like that's going to help propel you? That's another P, propel, to get to where you have to go.
I like that. And you can always do something.
Right.
The road to wherever you're trying to get to starts with one person taking the decisive action. I want to do something, right?
Right.
And like the commissioner said, you can just start information sharing in your community. Like, this is what this is what local government does, because a lot of us don't understand what your county government or your city government does,
right?
And municipality does for you. You're shooting to the federal level, but there is some local things that you can do, and local services that you have access to, local services that affect your day to day, that you can affect a change or movement or some progress in. So start there instead of, being angry about, or not, because some people, not angry about it. They're like, okay, we're going to see some things get better.
Right. I saw a business person at one of the events I went to. He said, man, I may do good up under this administration from a business perspective. So you got to find out, do a survey or go to some meetings and find out if you don't have a purpose, you don't have a passion, you don't have anything to persevere in, go to these meetings and find out, is crime an issue? It's literacy issue for my folks in elementary school, because they make the prison beds based on your 3rd grade reading scores. What is the reading scores in not just your community, but in the community next door, because it all impacts where you're going. Look at your zip code. Your zip code is more important than your genetic code. What is in my zip code that allow me? Yes, most people may listen to us. You may be in a comfortable situation and setting, but that doesn't mean everything is well. You got a whole nother area that may need help. Use your gifts, use your talents to get to your purpose that can, like Dr. T talked about, it can make that passion more strong. And it gives you a perseverance because you're going to find other like-minded people who have been waiting for your spark to help ignite them to do some public policy work that helps to mitigate a lot of the things that may be going on at the federal level. But if you sit back, because it's not going to stop. President Trump told us he told us during the campaign, all the things he's going to do, and he's doing them. He's carrying his mission, the vision he set out, he wants to do. But it's still, you have a role to play. You are a citizen of the United States. You have a voice. You can make things happen. Or you can be a reactive force. And when you're reacting, guess what happens? You're going to stay in a suspended animation. You are. I mean, because you're waiting on another person to dictate your mood, your attitude, and it's just not healthy.
That's really good. Don't stay in suspended animation because you can get so. That's a good point. We're seeing a lot of people that are just stuck and mad. That's not helping nothing.
No, use that energy.
Wasting energy.
Use that anger. Use that animus. Use that just feeling of unease to help somebody else in your community. I'm not going to get off that. It's a lot of work out here in the community that needs to be done. You may not do it on a federal level. You got the state, you got your county, you got your city. It's a lot of work that you could be focusing on that's going to have a greater good to make a difference with our community that needs our help. I was at an event, I said, and at two young boys is the group that I'm part of called the 100 Black Men of DeKalb. And they showed the video of a young mom whose boyfriend was mad and upset, and he shot her. But the boys were in the hallway listening to the shots. And then the grandmother was panicking. She said, the little boy said, "Grandma, he shot my mom." But that organization went and became mentors to those two young boys. You should see those young boys today. They have a male role model that they can talk to, somebody they can talk to. It has helped them. No, it's not going to get over the total grief of losing their mom, but playing a role in your community will help somebody get to the level they need to get. That's all.
I was trying to think of it earlier, but it's a quote or a saying. It says, "The journey to 1,000 miles begins with one step." Right?
That's it. One step.
So for many of you who are viewing or listening to this podcast today, it's just most of us have an idea or a thought about something that they want to see differently. And you might be that individual that will be the catalyst to not only start it, but drive it.
That's right.
And you're led to something to help impact it, improve it, and make it better. However, if you don't start, it may never come to fruition. I'm learning very well that all the people that we deem and esteem highly, they all started somewhere.
That's right.
They all had to start. They didn't start out great.
No.
They start out and they were willing to make mistakes. And then they got to a place of experience and expertise because they were willing to start. So I encourage our listeners and viewers to start. Like the commissioner mentioned, what's your purpose? And your passion will fuel that purpose and you'll persevere and begin to get somewhere and move somewhere. But if you never start, if you're waiting for optimum conditions,
right,
optimal
your
circumstances,
won't work.
You'll never get any movement. I think about us, anything that we wanted to do, you calculate your risk, right? And you think about how you mitigate risk. But if we wait to optimal conditions or ideal times or everything's just perfect, we would never have done anything in life. We would never have excelled. We would never be educated. You know what I'm saying? We would never have gone anywhere. We just determined, okay, this is what we want to do.
Right. And one of the great mentors I had said, risk yields rewards. Risk yields rewards. And if you don't, just go talk to your elected official. Don't limit yourself based on your party affiliation. Go sit down and talk to the people that you elected and share what you would like to see done, or how can you get started. Go to groups that you may be part of, a association, a PTA. Just sit there and just observe. You don't have to ask questions, but go observe and just try to connect. Go to a town hall meeting. Go just get around, find ways to see how I can connect my purpose to what's going on. Because if you stay in suspended animation, things gonna pass you by. The more angry you're gonna get, the more people say your mentals are going to keep going in your head, and you're not gonna understand what's going on. But you have to start, like Dr. T said, the journey. Everything starts with an idea. But the people who are moving forward are the ones who said, okay, I have an idea. I have to get up and act. And if it doesn't go off well, guess what? Start over again. But the goal is you started. Nothing beats a failure but a try. And you got to keep going, because if you don't, your personal life, your community life, they suffer because you're just typing. You're just posting. You're just keeping things going. But you're getting people to agree with you, because most of the people that's on your list, majority of them agree with everything you're saying, and all you're doing is repeating. Right. And then guess what? You feel good in that moment, but guess what? Once you get off that and get out that door and go to the grocery store, go to school, go to your job, and you just look around you, your surroundings. You have to play a role outside, and you got to get your passion. And then guess what? We got to talk about the other P, Dr. T, perseverance. Once you find that purpose, once you get that passion, everybody's not going to come on board right away, but you find you some key people, and you just keep persevering. You keep moving. A lot of times, as an elected person, I wanted to see things get done in my community. Little things like sidewalks. We didn't have them in areas. They were out of sight. Nobody was doing them. I started saying we need sidewalks. A lot of folks said we don't need sidewalks. We ain't never had them. What they going to do for us? So it was an uphill battle for the people who needed to have sidewalks, but didn't feel like they didn't see the need really. But I had to persevere through a lot of backlash, or through a lot of people saying, why are you doing this, wasting our money? Now, when you look back on areas that didn't have it, but now they're walking, they're safer, cars slow down more, you can go to your parks faster, you can get to the store faster. They're walking on the dirt, high grass. But I had to persevere to change that public policy. And guess what? I had people alongside of me to help me. I didn't need a whole crowd. I had 2 or 3 people said, man, this is a great idea, Commissioner. What can we do to help? I said, come to these meetings so we can share the ideas and make things happen. And once they saw the first ones get laid out, and they saw people who normally wasn't walking and connecting with your neighbors, they said, this is something that we always needed. But guess what? I took the idea, I saw it, I got out there, I persevered, and it was tough. I mean, I get many calls. I mean, people threatening my job. People didn't want to be part of it. But guess what? After a while, after a lot of heartaches and pains, guess what? Now it's just easy. People want them. But that's what I had to persevere. And I'm just telling you, when you do have these ideas and you move forward on them, you got to persevere through it, but just don't give up. You got 4 years. If you just want to use time during President Trump's term, you got time to get everything done you want to get done.
And we, some of us stop and don't move because you get paralyzed by the what if.
That's a P.
The paralyzed by if it's too hard, or can I do this? You still have to try.
Yeah.
Well, none of us knows. In life, it's just that.
Right.
You don't know what's coming day to day, but as you go through life's lessons, you learn how to deal with trouble. The Bible talks about the length of the days of men are short and there's much trouble. But you learn how to deal with trouble, right? You know what I'm saying? None of us are exempt from trouble, trials, problems.
None.
What happens to those that really succeed is their ability to go and handle trouble,
Yeah.
right? It's coming. It's a matter of you learning and taking prior experiences to help you mitigate and go through the trouble. But none of us are exempt from trouble. So if you're thinking, I don't want to try because I don't want to fail, or I don't know what to do when I hit a wall, everybody that started had to go through that. From the person that you respect the most, every single person on the journey. So if you're thinking, I don't want to start because I don't want to fail, or it's going to be too difficult. There's none of us who have not made a mistake. Right. There's none of us who have not failed. There's none of us who are not lost at something in life. But as the commissioner stated earlier, you get back up.
Yeah.
And you go again. Nothing beats a failure but a try. And I heard someone say, I don't know who coined it, everybody said it, but you don't lose, you learn, right? You win or you learn. What did I learn from this? And that's it.
You got to go forward.
Yes.
Because he said what he was going to do, and he's doing it. He's implementing his plans, and he's moving forward. Mm-hmm. Your thing is, like we told you with the lifing board, get that board and just write down your purpose, your passion, your plans, and you solve problems. Mm-hmm. There's so many things out here that needs your gifts.
Correct.
That needs the passion you have inside of you. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter, you got to go forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can email us or write in the list of something that you want to do. Mm-hmm. Me and Dr. T, we will look it over and shoot you back some questions and some action steps that might help you. Mm-hmm. We're willing to do that for you. Mm-hmm. Because we feel that this work is too big for just a couple of people. So you sitting at home, you're listening on to the podcast, please, you all, put pen to paper, mm-hmm. write your vision, and make it plain. Write it down, mm-hmm. the 3 P's, and then you add that 4th one in that prayer after you put them down. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe in prayer, you have another higher power. Whatever you have to do mm-hmm. to get you to move to action, you got to move to action, because it's not going to be healthy over the next 4 years that every day you come on and you keep complaining and talk about something, mm-hmm. And you're not out there willing to get in your local community mm-hmm. and move to action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to move to action. And again, comment something that you are unsure about that's said today.
That's right.
Share it.
Share it.
Other people might have similar concerns, or leave us a comment or a question like, Commissioner Dr. T, what about this? Right. Or let me ask you about this.
We will get back to you, because the goal is interactive. This podcast is meant about real life. Mm-hmm. We're going to deal with politics, community, relationships, dealing with conflict, the things that we have to deal with every day. Me and Dr. T, we've been through a lot of those things already. We're not telling you something based on theory and all of that. We've been through heartaches, we've been through ups, we've been through downs. But one thing that we did that's constant in our lives is that we just did not stand still. Mm-hmm. Coming from food stamps, from not having enough income, barely having enough food, but we persevered. We looked at it as a challenge mm-hmm. and a rare opportunity for us to say, how do we overcome this? Mm-hmm. And so we want to share those nuggets, the gifts that we have. And we're not saying that we have the perfect answers, but man, we have enough trials and tribulations.
That's right. Enough experience. Life experience. That's why it's real life Johnson.
Yeah.
We are real life Johnsons. Period. Right.
That's right.
And so part of our purpose is to share that experience with others and help them move forward and help avoid, if we can, some pitfalls that we had, and also show you what success looks like, right? How we came from start to here.
Right.
The commissioner will tell you were way different and more mature than when you started in 2002.
Yes.
23 years later, it's a whole different thing. Yes. But if he never started, he wouldn't be to this point, right? What's the biggest thing you say you learned from that first election and going through office over 20 years? What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned, life lesson?
Everything takes time. That you are not going to get it overnight, that you just bite the elephant one bite at a time. Mm-hmm. But you can't give up because everybody has a different agenda. Mm-hmm. They have things that they want to get done. You have to find common interests, common concerns, and try to work a little bit on somebody else's agenda as opposed, and also getting yours done at the same time. It's okay to do it because you're building partnerships and collaborations, and that's going to be key as part of these 3 P's, the partnership piece. Building partners who have like things they want to get done.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, you're not out here by yourself. It's things you want to do. You want to move on. You have to move on. Just by just typing them and posting, that's the first step. But then you got to take action because otherwise you're going to spend 4 years in suspended animation, just reacting to all the things that you woulda, coulda, shoulda. And don't be that person, the woulda, coulda, shoulda person, because you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset. But time going to keep moving. And that's what you got to always understand on what things go on in our community. Start local, focus, be intentional. And like Dr. T said, you got to start.
Yeah. If I look back, just thinking about when I was at the age to vote, if I think about like what presidential thing hit me directly during any, what do you call it? Any term, I can't think of anything that has happened over a president's term that hit me directly in that term, right? You have a thought of what it's going to be like, but you never know. But nothing hits you directly in most instances. It is you living your life, right? It is you taking one step at a time. It is you finding purpose, right? Fueled by passion to persevere in real life, in real time. So, you know what I mean?
Right. And so you have to step it up. You have to go. That's what real life is all about. And that's why we're here, to be part of your team, part of those support system that will be with you to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. But you got to take the first step.
Yes.
Nobody can take that step but you, and just have the courage to keep moving, because what we're going through may be unprecedented to some, but it's not to others, because they're used to thriving in all types of situations. And that's what you have to do. You have to thrive in the Trump effect. You got to keep moving. You got to make sure that your internal locus of control, that's what's inside of me, the intestinal fortitude, that get up spirit, that won't quit, the stuff that got you to this point, allows you to listen to us on this podcast. Those are things that's going to get you to where you have to go. Don't never give up on yourself. Take that spirit, take that energy and apply it to an issue and things going on in your community. And guess what? Like-minded people will pop up. If they don't, you keep moving. You got to persevere. And you're going to solve a lot of things at the local level, from mental health, dealing with poverty, dealing with literacy, environmental justice issues and things you want to focus on. Focus on laws or crime prevention, or just dealing with things that you drive every day out your house and see and you shake your head at, but you got to take action.
You got to take action. You got to take action. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you and just be able to share, right? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And please leave your comments for the Real Life Johnsons. And we'll be back with you next week for another great episode of Real Life Johnsons with
Commissioner LJ
and Dr. T.